Hello, everyone. I want to look at this with you all. I'm not sophisticated, so I'm showing it on my TV. But I think it's very important that we hear from these two powerful women and that begs for more research. We can look all this stuff up ourselves, but they make some very good comments and some very good points that we all should listen to. Intelligence comes from many ways, and I'm sure a lot of us have already made up our decisions who we're going to vote for. But we want to keep these people in power accountable, just like we want accountability for our family members and our friends. And we definitely should demand it from ones that are in power, that can change the way we live and the way other people live and think.
What waste, fraud, and abuse looks like. Because the only reason we're having this hearing is because somebody got their feelings hurt in a debate. And I don't understand why we're wasting taxpayer dollars. Next time, tell your big boy to show up and be ready to handle the woman in the room who hopefully will become the next president of the United States. Nevertheless, while we do have two amazing authors from Project 2025, which it seems like everybody got the memo. Like, yes, I'm going to double down and say it's my thing, but I'm going to make sure I also say that it ain't our homeboys thing because we know that it doesn't poll very well with the American people because the American people are woke enough to recognize that there is nothing good in it for them. So, with that being said, Miss Perryman, I'm just curious, and this is yes or no. Is Trump's name ever mentioned in Project 2025? Yes or no? Just yes or no. I got you.
Within the document itself,
Yes.
There are a number of references to the former
Okay. So is Trump's name mentioned just one time?
I believe it's mentioned more.
Okay. 5 times.
I haven't counted.
Oh, okay. Well, if I told you that his name is mentioned approximately 312 times, would you have any
Wow.
reason to dispute that?
I
Did
don't
you
have
know
it.
that?
Okay, thank you very much. So it's interesting that we want to.
That's something to be checking
We're not
out.
going to pretend in here. We're going to work with facts and not fiction. So I also want to talk about inflation really quickly with you, Miss Perryman, because we've talked about it a lot. I'm just curious to know, is the inflation that we just struggled through, was that global or was that limited to the United States?
Global.
Global. Seemingly, it was attached to this thing called the global pandemic. Is that correct?
That is my understanding.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just the United States.
No.
Okay, so it wasn't just a matter of the Biden-Harris administration and the United States is struggling, right?
I think the United States actually fared better than the rest.
Oh, yeah. In fact, we are, correct?
I think so, yeah.
All right, but inflation still hurts, and so that's why we have a candidate that has an actual plan instead of concepts of a plan. Or as I like to say, Trump only has offered concepts of constitutionality mixed with coordinations of a coup. But nevertheless, we're going to move on. I want to talk about the internet really quickly because we wanted to talk about the internet. Actually, let me talk about the border real fast, and then we can talk about Texas in this way. I'd ask for unanimous consent to emit this article from The Hill that says Trump says blame it on me if border bill fails.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to move on to the internet. And I'm actually going to talk about Texas because I believe that the testimony has been somewhere around the fact that no money has actually been disputed as it relates to rural broadband. I also ask for unanimous consent to admit this article from the USDA.gov. USDA officials attend groundbreaking to expand high-speed internet access in rural Texas, dated March 7th, 2024, Italy, Texas.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you so much.
With respect, that was not the testimony.
Oh, I thought you said no dollars had been spent.
The largest single program.
My question is, did you not say
$42 billion?
Okay.
0 houses have been connected. There are other federal programs, including Trump-era ones, that right now are churning dirt and connecting.
Okay, so just to be clear, because I don't want the American people to be confused, because I was confused because it almost seemed as if, considering the fact the name of this hearing is the failed policies, as if nothing had been done. But to clarify for those that are watching, you aren't saying that no dollars have been spent as it relates to rural broadband dollars under the Infrastructure Act, correct?
To be clear, for the signature effort, 40
Yes or no? Have any dollars been spent?
not a
$1.
single person has been connected.
That's not my question though. My
but they
question was,
real
have
sensitive
any?
issues. Senator Ted Cruz from
Okay,
Texas
I'm
got
gonna move on.
support
I'm gonna move
showed
on.
that
I'm reclaiming my time at this
for
point.
many of these
I'm
bills,
reclaiming my time, which means, Chairman, I'm
$1,000
gonna
per location.
stop my time because the witness is not.
Are you asking him a question or are you?
No, I'm not asking my question. I'm reclaiming my time.
All right. The chair recognizes Ms. Crockett.
Okay, now I was at 41, y'all, so go back up.
We'll give you 9 more seconds.
Okay, thank you so much. Here's the deal. You testified a lot about the problem with the broadband rollout being diversity, equity, and inclusion. You said DEI, I don't know how many times, which is one of the issues that Project 2025 takes issue with. But it's interesting to me because I have another article from the Texas Tribune, and it actually specifically states that internet providers say they are simultaneously hopeful and skeptical about whether the incoming federal dollars will be enough to connect the most underserved Texans. Historically, other federal rural broadband funding programs have seen limited success because many companies who committed to providing broadband went into default after radically underestimating their costs. It doesn't say anything about diversity. And the final thing that I will say
Do you know
is
why
that
those
this
costs have
election,
increased?
I didn't ask you a question. The final thing that I will say is that this election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
Okay.
Chair recognizes the gentlelady from South Carolina.
Okay. Now, she said what she said. And it all boils down to the same thing. They scared black people in power. Like, what are we going to do? But try to make things better for everybody. But they have been brainwashed so bad that they can't see the future. You're not going to be on top forever. Nobody is. Nobody has ever been on top forever. Y'all only got to where y'all at now because of your lust for power and blood. Anybody's blood. So they come up with all these new projects and ideas to brainwash the low level white people so they can stay in tune and keep everybody divided. And all that's not working no more. And they see that. Everybody on this planet should want to just live their lives in peace and harmony and raise a family and enjoy themselves. Be happy. Have babies. Have marriages. Build businesses. Build homes. What else is it? What more? Your money is not going to extend 1 inch of your life no more than it is the average person. Now listen to her. Okay? Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Do your diligent work research.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My colleagues across the aisle said that those that cannot
She
pronounce
had to make this
Kamala's name
point.
correctly are elementary age children. I would like to enter into the record an article by Newsweek saying Bill Clinton pronounces Kamala Harris' name wrong during
Okay.
his speech. Bill Clinton, along with Al
Okay.
Sharpton, rapper Lil Jon. Let's not forget that Joe Biden can't say her name right. Neither can Supreme Court Justice
Okay.
Sonia Sotomayor. And this morning on Morning Joe, Joan Baez called her a camel. So I don't want to hear
Okay.
it. It's fake outrage. I would like to also enter
Fake
into the
outrage.
record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without
Then
objection.
the guy
Order.
says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala. And if we're going to have that standard, you got to hold it to both sides, not just one or the other. On to the issue at hand. I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for.
Okay, I got to say that. She mentioned Mike Dyson. I got 2 of his books. The third one I just couldn't stomach. He talks about racism too much. To me he's not giving any solutions. You know, he's a big figure. He's been around a long time. It seems like we would be doing more on damage control and more on prevention, and stop blaming the white man for all our downfalls. Okay, we should have evolved from that yet, because we should recognize that white people hate everybody, even themselves. And the only reason why they do us so much damage like that is because we let them.
For witnesses being here today, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have presided over the worst presidential administration in American history. Biden and Kamala Harris inherited a country with a strong economy and next to zero inflation. Under the Biden-Harris administration, inflation skyrocketed, wages stagnated, and American families are struggling to make ends meet, as we're all well aware of today. Biden and Kamala inherited a world at peace and turned it into a world at war.
I got to say something about that. They talking about people are struggling to people been struggling to put food on the table ever since America been America. And the reason why is because people like her and others let it happen. If they want to charge what, $30 for 6 steaks, and you continue to buy them, hey, they good. You know, and the government cannot really, unless they're doing something underhanded, they can't tell these people what price to put on their goods. But we keep buying it. The ones that can't afford it and the ones that are willing to spend that kind of money. Because a lot of people ain't gonna give up their caviar. They're not gonna give up their $12 steak, and they're not gonna give up their a bag of $20 shrimp. They're not gonna give it up because they know that people love barbecues. They love their meat, and they killing certain people with the food because they're putting all these chemicals in it, and the healthy food costs a lot of money, and they don't want to give people food stamps that for some reason or another can't find a good paying job. So this is garbage.
War. Our allies are under attack, our adversaries emboldened, and America embarrassed on the world stage. In fact, even being forced to evacuate 7 embassies during this administration. Biden and Kamala inherited a country with the most secure border in our nation's history. They flung our borders wide open to the largest.
And they kill me with that. Anybody who try to say the Americans, all the damage that America has done worldwide and is doing now. Oh, they ain't seen nothing yet. Now they can say this now, but it's only going to get worse. So we need to be bracing. It's only going to get worse. Why do you think we have gotten this way this far? Because of people like that that's running stuff. History tells you that your downfall is coming.
Invasion of illegal aliens our country has ever seen. The illegal aliens Biden and Kamala have led into our country have gone on to rape and murder American citizens, including our women and girls, including 158 Democrats who voted against deporting illegals who are here, murdering, raping, and who are also pedophiles, harming our women and girls. Biden and Kamala can't even tell us the difference between a woman and a mentally ill man in a dress. Of all Joe and Kamala's many failings, I'd like to focus my 5 minutes today on immigration. I'm down to about 2, so we'll be quick. During her failed 2020 presidential campaign, well before her coup against Joe Biden, Kamala Harris completed an ACLU candidate questionnaire outlining her policy positions. I'd like to examine a few of her responses and how they've informed her work as border czar, since she says her values have not changed. Mr. Chairman, I would like to enter into the record this questionnaire, ACLU Rights for All Candidate Questionnaire 2019, Kamala Harris.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. One of the strangest responses from Kamala in the questionnaire was when she indicated she supported providing taxpayer-funded so-called gender-affirming care
Look
for
it up.
illegal aliens and
Look
immigration
it up.
detention, which we all know is cutting off their private parts. Taxpayer-funded cutting off of their private parts.
Look it up.
So, Mr. Krikorian, is this occurring under this administration? What are the serious safety consequences it may pose?
Well, I mean, the safety consequences of the procedures themselves, I'm not qualified to talk about, but clearly it serves as yet one more incentive for people to illegally immigrate to the United States. In this case, people seeking a particular kind of medical procedures.
In the questionnaire, Kamala pledges to slash funding for ICE, cut immigration detention by more than 50%, and even express support for ending immigration detention. Have Biden-Harris presidential budget requests reflected Kamala's desire to cut ICE funding and immigration detention?
Detention funding, absolutely. It's
Okay, we're gonna look that up. That's your assignment. That's our assignment to look up everything she said. Now, they can talk about each other on both sides. They both can say some really disturbing things. They all can make up lies, but we have to be diligent and find out this stuff. But the most thing that I want to say, they are government. They do government stuff. That's what the government do. But we have to do what we do. And we have to stand up for ourselves and our children. And we have to make our community safe, our family happy, and live a long, healthy life. And live for the future. Now, as far as immigrants, I'm just going to say a few things about immigration. Um, it's so weird that these people talk about immigration when everybody over here besides the Indians are immigrants. Okay, we don't want to ever forget how America came about. They came over here and killed Indians, slaughtered them, tortured them, killed whole tribes with their nasty diseases. And then they went over there and stole Africans and brought them over here to sweat and blood and tears to build up this America so they could continue their reign of terror on the rest of the world. Okay? We're not going to get it twisted. With them colonizing all over the world, making things bad for all over the world, that's why want to come here because they think it's better. You know it's got to be awful bad over there to want to come over here where you could be mass murdered any time. So that's all I want to say. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. There for the future.